Hi guys, this is Thogard over on the PCNA server, and what I'm doing today is bringing to you my Magicka Sorcerer build. This is not a build that's meant to be played in every environment. In fact, this build is particularly focused on the no-CP environment. Yeah, I would not say that it's a dueling build, and even in a no-CP environment, I would not consider it to be a dueling build. What it is a build that performs exceptionally well in the deathmatch variant of Battlegrounds, and it also does quite well in small-scale PvP, especially on the Soft the Sill campaign, where people's time to kill tends to be much faster and where positioning tends to be extremely important. The items of this set, very heavily influenced by another Magicka sorcerer named Speedkills. I would highly recommend you check out his YouTube and his Twitch, because he was very influential in selecting which sets, which 5 pieces, which 2 pieces to wear. What I'm doing is I'm running 5-piece spinners on the front bar with an Inferno staff. That is going to be the infused trait with the Oblivion damage glyph. On the back bar, I'm running Restoration Staff of Transmutation. That too is going to be infused, but this one's going to have the weapon damage glyph. What that allows us to do is start off our burst combos on the back bar, because we have Curse on the Restoration Staff bar, and it allows us to pick up that weapon damage for 5 seconds. Now, in addition to having spinners active 5-piece on the front bar and Restoration Staff Transmutation 5-piece active on the back bar, because we're not double barring either set, we're able to fit not just one 2-piece but 2 2-pieces in there. The first 2-piece that we're using is Bloodspawn. This is a great set for 2 reasons. First of all, the extra stamina regen is exceptionally beneficial for the Magicka Sorcerer class. Not just because we can translate stamina into Magicka and health using Dark Conversion, but also because in a no CP, one of the main ways that Sorcs, especially with this build, die is by being stam locked by other players and by being caught inside of a CC that they just don't have enough stamina to break out of. So the extra stamina regen from Bloodspawn's 1 set is really good, and the 2 set bonus of generating extra resistance as well as ultimate really helps us not only make our shields absorb more damage indirectly by having higher resistances, which is new this patch cycle, but it also helps us significantly by helping us generate ultimate so that we can get faster to that next ult dump, whether that is a restoration ultimate in order to be defensive or an offensive ultimate in order to seal the deal and finish off the opponents. We're also running a 2-piece willpower. We can fit 2 on there because we're not double barring either 5-piece, and that we're just putting on there for extra Magicka, because like last patch, the Magicka still matters, although you will notice that I am committing a heinous sorcerer crime by actually having less than 30,000 mag in a no CP campaign, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The enchants on everything, tri-stat, all the way. It's the most efficient thing to do in the game. It is. You get more bang for your buck with the tri-stat list than anything else. There's nothing even close. I mean, just add it up. We have tri-stat on every piece, and you'll notice that the traits are all impenetrable as well. This one's well fitted. I need to change it. There's no reason to have one well fitted piece on the Magicka Sorcerer. This one needs to be impenetrable as well. But they're all impen. For the jewelry, keeping in line with the idea of having a significant amount of stamina and HP, because we need those in the no-CP campaign to survive, what we're doing is we're getting triune traits on all 3 pieces of jewelry. We're really loading up the stats, which is the main reason why we want to make sure we go 5-1-1 rather than 5-2 or 6-1 when it comes to light, medium, heavy. Right now I'm running 1 spell damage and 2 Magicka recovery glyphs. It's not something that you have to do. If you feel more comfortable heavy attacking a lot, then you can certainly get away with more spell damage and less Magicka regen. But what I have found is that while this might be a good strategy for dueling, for the way that this build plays, it's a very reactive build, and you need to be able to seize the moment and capitalize on opportunities like that. And that means not having to be caught in a heavy attack animation or anything like that when someone gets anywhere near the execute threshold, or if they become out of position and present themselves as a target. Let's talk about the skills, because the skills are where I really start to diverge from most of the other Magicka sorcerers Actually, as far as I know, all of the other Magicka sorcerers that are out there. First and foremost, let's talk about my back bar because it's a little bit more standard, and we can get a little bit weirder as we progress through the skills. On my back bar, which is the Restoration Staff bar, you'll notice that we've got Streak, obviously. This patch, Stamina DPS, much slower. No such thing as 100% uptime on Major Expedition, and that means that a Magicka sorcerer using Streak is now the most mobile and the fastest class in the game. They might not be able to break snares, but keep in mind your streak distance is not affected by whether or not you're snared or even whether or not you're rooted. If you're rooted, you can just only go in one direction, so make sure that you're taking advantage of jumping to do damage so that you don't get rooted facing the wrong way. Now, next up you'll see Boundless Storm. Boundless Storm, not only is it a great source of major resolve and major ward, it's also a 4-second hit, for lack of a better word, of Major Expedition. And hey, wouldn't you know it, the cooldown on the streak cost increase happens to be 4 seconds. Crazy, right? Also on the back bar, we've got Curse. Curse, the damage is going to be based off of whichever bar you're on when the thing pops, not whichever bar you're on when you're applied. And having Curse on this back bar gives us access on the back bar to the Stamina Recovery, passive Daedric Protection. Without Curse on the back bar, we wouldn't have this, which increases our Stamina Recovery by 20%. Again, very useful, extremely useful in an OCP environment where Stamina Recovery, or the lack of stamina, is usually what gets you killed. Also on the back bar, we've got Dark Conversion. How could we not? And finally, starting to get a little bit wonky, but not too crazy considering we're running Transmutation, we've got Mutagen. I like Mutagen over Rapid Regen. I've used both. I think that if you're in a group and you're just really stacking that Rapid Regen, it could make some sense. Due to my testing, I believe they do stack with each other, but I think there's more testing that needs to be done just because we're seeing multiple status effects of the same buff. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting healed by multiple of them. But at this point, we do feel strongly that Magicka classes stacking Rapid Regens and Mutagens can perform similarly, albeit to a lesser degree since the delves are much smaller per second than the Stamina DPS group stacking Vigor heals. Also on the back bar, we've got Light's Champion, Resto Ult. I know Speed Kills really likes the other morph of the Resto Ult. He is a extremely talented 1vx player. I am looking to do something slightly different. I'm more of a small scaler and Battlegrounds player, and so because of that, I prefer the Resto Ult because it is not only an amazing defensive ability, but that extra crit damage can oftentimes help you push and really close the deal on someone just by getting a few extra casts off, which is really easy to do with this build because, as I'm going to show you, we actually run a spammable. When we go to the front bar, this is where I start really going against what a lot of the sorcerers that are out there are recommending. On the front bar, first and foremost, we're going with the mines, but they're not just any mines. These are the, hey, you over there, go fuck yourself mines, and I love them. What this build is designed to do is it's designed not just to get range by streak, but to keep range by using the mines to lock people down. These mines, not only are they amazing at rooting people, and I mean you can even pop Night Blades out of cloak with these things. Not only are they great at that, you also get healed a little bit because of the Dark Blood or Blood Ritual passive every time an enemy steps over them. So you're getting a lot of passive healing with the mines, and also combined with Mutagen, and also combined with Critical Surge, which is also over here on the front bar. Again, the mines and that morph of the mines is going to make a lot more sense once you see the playstyle, because I cannot stress enough, this build is not meant to be played the way a Magicka Sorcerer build from last patch would be played. It is completely based off of getting the fuck away from your opponents and keeping them from closing the gap and getting close to you and blowing them up while they're trying. And because of that, it's very powerful, but it needs to be played a certain way with certain criteria that must be met. Otherwise, you're not going to be doing as much damage as a regular sorcerer. Also on the front bar, obviously, we've got Power Surge. Again, just another source of healing. There's a lot of bleeds that are out there, a lot of proc hits, a lot of oblivion damage, especially in an OCP campaign, and especially in the Battlegrounds. Those seem to be even more popular than usual. Because of that, there's a lot of passive and semi-active healing crammed into this build just to help you stay alive. I'm personally not too worried about running into Shield Breaker just because I have so much passive healing going on at all times. Not to mention the fact that with Bloodspawn on, I get to that rest ult pretty darn quickly if people are dotting me up or hitting me frequently. Next up, and this is where I am so sorry, but I have to break the Sorc rule. I have a terrible secret to tell all of you. I'm not running Crystal Frags. I know it's crazy. I'm waiting for the build police to come and arrest me. I've been told that they are on their way, but until they get here, I am running Crushing Shock, not Crystal Frags. And the reason why, and again, this will make a lot more sense when you see how this build is played, I want a spammable. The mines can actually work as an okay spammable because they arm instantly. They're not like the other mines which take a little bit of time to arm. And I can put them down wherever I want. The range on these mines is 41 meters. So not only do they do damage and heal me, but they also root my opponents, which again, in an OCP campaign, if it's a mag user I'm fighting, helps me stam lock them. But Crushing Shock is something that I can spam as well to really, really put pressure on them. Keep in mind, Crushing Shock is a weapon damage skill, not a class skill. Because it's a weapon damage skill, it's also going to be triggering this bad boy, the Infused Oblivion damage glyph. All of that means that if I need to do any damage, like right now, on demand, I can do that. I don't have to wait for my Crystal Frag to proc by, spamming the shield or by spamming mines or something like that. I also don't even need to spam the shield a lot of the time. I don't even need to keep it up all the time because, for one thing, I've got a pretty high amount of HP. I can use the shield reactively rather than proactively with this build, which is an amazing trait to have in an OCP campaign. But furthermore, and even more importantly, it means I can just sit there and unload on people if I have range. Previously, you would see sorcerers, try to burst people down, right? That was the thing. You'd stack your shields. The sorcerer would spend, every other cast spamming a shield. What they would then do is they would line up all the burst, and try to get you, if the Meteor and the Curse and the Crystal Frag and the Execute and the Soul, all those things, if they all hit you at the same time and you were already at 6% HP because they were light attacking and other stuff, then that would be how they would kill you. This is not that build. This is not something where you bring people from 60 to 0 based on the stars aligning, which again, it's a fun playstyle. This build is meant so that you don't have to do it that way. It totally changes the way it's played. What this is doing is it's treating the sorcerer much more like, for example, a mag decay. The only difference is I'm doing it from range. So the way we play it was just we get the fuck away, okay? Pretty easy. We put down the mines in between us and them, okay? Make it so they have to walk over the mines. If they try to go around the mines, great. Just keep, running in circles around them and keep shooting them, Once they get in the mines, they're probably going to roll dodge out of the mines, in which case, where they're mid-roll dodge, you want to streak them to stun. Or, if they've got a ton of teammates with them, just throw on another curse if there's not everyone on there. But while they're trying to figure out what to do, you can just fucking spam Crushing Shock on them. And the great thing about Crushing Shock, it is not reflectable. And oh, by the way, neither is any other skill on here. Every skill you see on this bar and the other bar, nothing that I do is reflectable. Daedric Tomb, you would not believe how much this fucks up mag decays. It's amazing. Crushing Shock, not reflectable. Fucks up mag decays, fucks up stand decays. We got a lot of those, and I don't have to worry about them at all. I will just root the mag decay over there and fucking Crushing Shock it to death. And there's nothing they can do because they can't heal themselves unless they're hitting me. And I block the leap because I see it coming because they're already so far away. Endless Fury also not reflectable. This build is meant as a pressure build. It's not meant as a burst build, but it still has enough burst to bring someone, because we are using Curse, it still has enough burst to get someone from 50%-ish, depending on how defensive they are, down to 0, because we're still running Curse, and we're still running, most importantly of all, in the battlegrounds, especially the deathmatch mode, we're still running the Sorc Execute. Now, let's talk about a few things. First, the food. I'm actually running the Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Why? I didn't want to have to run a sustain 5-piece. I didn't want to have to run a mag sustain 2-piece either. You know, I liked blood spawn. I liked willpower to increase the stats. My Mundus is, I want to say the mage. I always get the Munduses mixed up. Yeah, the mage. So we are still trying to get max Magicka a little bit higher. But my only 2 Magicka regen lines are from transmutation. 2 and 3-piece bonuses. So I like Witchmother's Potent Brew because it really helps me bring that mag regen up. And because I'm playing this as something where I just can unload on people and just, rather than like having to line up the curse just right, I can, you know, just over time bring them down while they're trying to get to me. I like having a little bit higher regen because I don't want to get, you know, forced into a situation where they're almost dead but not quite, and I have to, you know, start going all, you know, healy. It's sustaining. I don't want that shit. There have been quite a few times where lower mag regen, yeah, my hits hit harder, but I'd rather do more of them. And it's not like I'm having to spam shields anyway, because I am, you know, much farther away from my opponents, and I'm keeping them farther away. The ultimate on the front bar is going to change based on your situations. For battlegrounds, I really like to use Soul Assault. It's the ultimate fuck you to Nightblades, who are probably the strongest against this of any of the classes you can fight. But we can still mess them up pretty easily because you can pop them out of cloak with not just streak, but also mines. Soul Assault really helps us get kills on people that would otherwise be too hard or too tanky to target. A lot of damage. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. If I'm doing small scale on Cyrodiil, I really like using the Ice Comet because it's a ranged AoE stun, and the groups we fight tend to outnumber us significantly, and being able to slow them down by using a stun, which will ideally bring them out of their major expedition if they're getting that from rapids, because the break free from that counts as an ability being used, which pops them out of the major expedition. So what we want to do is make sure that you know, in certain situations, Ice Comet is better. And in some situations, if we're fighting really large groups that have, you know, just a ton of healers, a lot of times I'll put Negate on there. But the ultimate really depends on what the situation is, who we're fighting, and how we're fighting them, and also what our own group is composed of. The potions that we use are tripods, because the fact of the matter is, you know, there's so much sustained damage here, like just the ability to constantly be pushing out damage until people get into that curse explosion plus execute range, that we want the ability to just keep pumping it out as much as possible, especially in battlegrounds. There is one other way that I have drastically diverged from the way most Magicka sorcerers build, and I have just, like, they're gonna lock me up and throw away the key when the build police get here and take me away. I have committed the ultimate ESO build video faux pas. That being said, I like to play ESO inside of the actual ESO.exe game rather than on the build editor. And because of that, I really wanted to hit certain thresholds both for health and stamina to make sure that I could survive certain combinations from certain players. And I've messed around with the health and stamina a lot on this build. But I have actually put 7 points into health and 9 points into stamina, just trying to hit certain targets that I found to be very efficient, especially the stamina. A very important thing to have, because again, you know, you're going to be kiting a lot, and you're going to be, you know, rooting them, you're going to be spamming damage. You can stay in fights and do a lot of damage until you have to get away, and then you turn around and start blowing them the fuck up again. But you die when you get CC locked. You die when you get stam locked or stamina locked. Whether that's by a mag decay that's popping petrify on you or what. That's when you die, is when you run out of stamina. That's the build. But again, you know, if you put this in the build editor, it's not going to look amazing. Let me show you how it's played, because I can't stress enough, if you try to play this like an ordinary Sorc build, it's going to be challenging, because its burst damage is not going to compare to what the burst damages of mag stacking Sorc builds really are. This is a build that gets its damage from the fact that it gets to free cast. It's built around first and foremost being able to free cast upon your opponents and not losing any global cooldowns. Not losing any global cooldowns to having to break free, roll dodge, or spam shield. So we do a lot more with this build. Even though each extra one is a little bit less, we're just doing so much more of them overall that it really in my mind is the most efficient, most optimal way to play Magicka Sorcerer this patch. Unless you're dueling. If you're dueling, this is a really shitty build. I'm sorry, it is. The only way you're going to win a duel with this thing is if you try to stand block somebody, because there's just not enough raw damage here to beat someone in a CP campaign. But anyway, enough about that. Let's check out some gameplay footage. Thanks again. Nice. Okay, so let's try front door. Here we go. Oh, boom. Easy. Right here. You guys ready? We're just going to hit from this line right here. Let's kind of pivot to the left, guys. Pivot to the left. There's one behind over here. Plasma health. Let's get up. We're getting sandwich because we got to move down pretty quick. Right still?
Oh, what?
We have a Sorc over extended if you guys want to turn up the curses up on him. Nice, got him. Block. Get this Zing in person, whatever. Yeah, we have a Sorc in our backfield. Armora. Where's a good angle attack? Make sure your curses are up. Don't kite too far back. This is good. They're afraid of us. Let's get up this quickly. And then pivot again to the right on me. These guys are extended. Nice. Push in, push in, push in. They're afraid. My meteor. Don't push in too far. You guys don't need to get in the melee range. There we go. Good, good, good. Mr. Simvi's overextended. Nice. Push in.
My meteor in the DK.
Still pushing. Let's get that Sorc. Let's see who can streak the most.
Not I. Not a Magicka.
Son of a bitch.
Boom cage.
You did.
So dodged it.
Nice.
Got him.
Got him. Easy.
Did he loop back to the one that didn't have any Magicka straight to keep up?
Alright, let's see who is in this match. I'm pretty sure that's a Stam Sorc. Not sure, and that is a Mag DK or a very tanky Stamina DK. Another DK, a Warden, probably a healer. That's going to be tough. And over here I have a Nightblade, Mag DK, and a Mag Sorc. Oh, so my team is ranged. Oh, this will be a great advantage. This will be a great advantage, hopefully. Never know for sure.
Show no mercy.
So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I see these teams commit. This guy looks like he's looping around to the side. I'm constantly going to keep panning around to look to see where the second team is. Always. Knowledge is power from the battlegrounds. And with this build, what I want to be able to do always constantly panning to check. Green, which spawns over there, should be coming up behind purple very soon. Okay, Tahoot is a stamina knight, but I have to watch out for him. Alright, there it is. Green actually coming up on the opposite side from where I thought. So what I'm doing is I'm crossing over this way to see if I can bait green into pulling here, so then purple hit them in the back, but my team didn't get that memo. And I'm here all by my own. My team is fighting green out here. What is hitting me? Like, I literally don't know what's hitting me. It's so bizarre. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do very well unless my team doesn't fall for the sandwiches or the traps or whatever you want to call it. So that's not ideal because purple spawns over there. And if we fight on our base, we're just going to get sandwiched. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pivot around so that purple there is coming up with green behind him. And now what I'm going to try to do is get these green players to either chase me I'll be dead now. Yep, they got me. So now I need to try to convince my team to follow me because they're not moving well at all. My team's winning, but they're also dying a lot. And they're setting up kills for the other teams. By them staying put, they're not inviting another team to push in and compromise their own position. Raging medic seems pretty squishy. Quick back. If my team keeps fighting at our spawn, what's going to happen is we're going to permanently be spawn camped. Because the other two teams will always just come up right to our spawn and get us there. So I need to get behind purple. Purples are closest. My team pushing in a green like this is fine. If purple tries to loop behind green, I just sort of warn. Have some mines. I might have missed. But right there was a great example of why having that spammable is so important. There too. You want to really be able to do damage when you need to. I'm watching out for that over there. the Magicka just can't handle the mines. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to pay attention to the map. Green just died. This is green spawn. They could be coming from this side. They probably won't. They'll probably just come straight down, but I need to be careful. You know, because the only reason I'm able to free cast like this and really get the advantage of the spammable is because I know that everyone on my backside, they're not there. I know where all 8 of my opponents are at any given point in time. Maybe not where that Destro reaches, but that's not any given with that. Again, spammable. Enemy stole the kill, damn it. I guess even with the spammable, it's not always a guarantee. Mouse blocking that, I thought. Oh well. So right now the fight's in the middle, which gives my team, which is ranged, a huge advantage. Looks like misjudged which way he was gonna run. That was very close and I almost died. Sometimes on an incline the mines are hard to place. It's okay. So, I mean really, my team was well positioned. My team should have been well positioned. A lot of their deaths were avoidable just by paying attention to both sides. And I do apologize if the back and forth camera work was a little bit wonky, but I can't stress enough that using this build really requires a constant awareness, not of one team, but of both teams at all times, which means 1, memorizing their spawn points, and 2, watching to see when the bodies disappear so you know when they're coming from their spawn point. You really want to make sure your backside is clear. Hi, Thogard here. Thanks again for watching the build video and for watching the PvP gameplay. Now you might be wondering, is this the build for you? And I've got a surefire way to tell you if this is a build that you can make effective use of to really tear up your opponents, or if this is a build that quite frankly might actually end up with you doing less damage overall, since the burst is going to be lower than most traditional Sorc builds, and therefore not be the build for you. I want you to go back and I want you to watch the battleground portion of this build video. And I want you to pay attention to the times when I get caught off guard, when I'm expecting a team or people to come from one side, but actually they come from, the other side. Now granted, I'm always panning around, and so I don't think I get caught off guard enough that I'm not able to successfully pre-kite my opponents, although once or twice I do get stam locked. Especially at the time when I die though, I'm able to pre-kite but not fast enough. So go back, watch that piece of the video, and if you're able to tell off the bat exactly what I did wrong and what I said that is wrong, then congratulations, you have enough situational awareness to make full use of the build, and you will absolutely tear people up because you'll be able to get the most use out of the mines. If you're not quite sure what part of what I said was actually full of shit, don't worry. It doesn't mean that this build isn't for you. It just might not be the build for you right now. And so what I would recommend, tune into the stream. I'm constantly narrating positional calls, team movement, and making sure that we're all around paying a lot more attention to the fact that there are 3 teams and it is a 3-team dynamic in the battlegrounds. So go back, watch that, and then come here. Please do not go past this point. because I'm about to say what the answer is. So, what I did wrong is I'm fucking colorblind, and I can't fucking tell the difference between fucking green and fucking purple with their fucking spawns, because Zoss in its colorblind mode that didn't really carry over to the fucking icons, and I didn't have my fucking colorblind glasses on. So when I'm saying purple spawn is over here and green spawn is over here, I got it backwards, and that's on me. So every time I'm looking to the fucking left because purple had respawned, purple came in from the fucking right. You know, every time I was looking to the right for green, it came in from the fucking left. You know, and that ended up getting me killed. And it also prevented me from getting quite a few kills that I otherwise would have. Granted, I'm still always panning around because you never really know for sure, and I still end up going 11-1. But if you were able to diagnose what I did wrong, then you are going to do so well with this build. And I mean, obviously you're probably already really fucking good at Valgons anyway if you're paying that much attention to it. So I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and I really appreciate you tuning in. I really appreciate you watching the video. I appreciate you watching the stream, and we'll see you out there. Thanks. Oh shit, I'm dead. Oh, they got you. Oh, I'm stam locked. No, they got me. The entire raid. How many is that? Whew, that is a lot. That might even be more than a raid, dude. I'm like not even. I'm actually just gonna. I'm gonna save that shadow replay because that's actually funny. How many people that is that chased like one person for that? Their entire raid is teabagging me, dude. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. Their entire raid. Their entire raid. Oh, you guys got me so good. Good duel, guys. Good duel. Good duel.